Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 28th Global Borrowers and Bond Investors Forum. It's a real pleasure to open this conference and see so many of you here today. 910 people are registered from 58 countries. I've already seen some familiar faces that I love seeing here, but also plenty of new ones.
We expect a recovery in the second half of this year. Why? Because we expect an impact on domestic demand as a consequence of the implementation of our measures on welfare. We are also investing on improving the technical capacity of the public administration in designing public investment projects and to implement that in a certain way.
Last year taught me, as you know, I've been forecasting Europe for 20 years, and last year was a sort of real revelation moment for me, because we've always had this expression, when the US sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold, and that was one of our nice mantras. I think last year we discovered quite how gravely the global system has changed, and now when China sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. Because last year the US was booming.
In the last few years, there's been a whole discussion about contextualizing it, because there was a concern that you may have very good, strong green assets, but actually, if the issuer is using it almost like a PR exercise where they're going, aren't we doing something rather marvelous here, albeit that it's a very good green project, and continuing with business as usual, that is really problematic.
2018, we had to embark several programs. The Fiscal Balance Program is the most important program within the Kingdom as part of the Vision 2030, which actually gives the going forward forecasts and objectives of the Kingdom from the fiscal side. So 2018, we had to apply a lot of new measures, a lot of structural reforms. That includes the energy price reform.
One of the most important things we need to do is to think not about switching off emotions, but about regulating emotions. Emotions are vital in decision making. People who have brain lesions that mean that they are incapable of expressing emotions or feeling emotions do not become better decision makers. They become worse decision makers, because unless I care about whether A or B happens in the future, I have no basis on which to make that decision.
To get re-elected, he has to deliver on some of his promises. He can blame Congress for not doing the wall, he can blame Congress for some other things, but trade is his thing, and he could argue he's done something with the Mexicans and the Canadians, but he really needs to have some symbolic or better victory with China in order that he can start campaigning. And in fact, then he can turn his attention to Germany.
Sort of cheekily, I would argue that trade wars, American recession, Chinese currency depreciation, and potentially populism are all part of the same story. But
Brexit as well.
Not quite Brexit. That's
a whole full set.
But I would agree with Silvia, and I think not so much what's the biggest threat in the next 12 months, what's the biggest threat in the next 12 days is an escalation of trade wars. And I think if we do get an escalation of trade wars from here, there is a significant risk that delivering that economic shock, and it would still be a shock, it would ripple through financial conditions, it would have a significant impact on actual trade on the ground. I think that at a point where the US economy is decelerating, where the global economy is fragile, risks the sort of tipping point in a complex system that could deliver recession.